something over here. Hello. I'm sure somebody will come in a moment. This is Gary. I'm here for the fourth day of it's getting a bit chilly. So I'm sitting outside Lausanne. It's been Lausanne, Switzerland, where I am. It's been a very nice day. It's been quite warm, but it's starting to get a bit chilly. So I'm going to get in. Hello, welcome. I'm just saying. I'm just going to get myself a jacket or something because I'm a bit cold. As I said, that oh, you've gone. All right, people come and people go. It's very interesting. This coming and going business. I don't know why people actually come because we'll see when we get there. I'm putting a jacket on. I was going to put a jumper on, but I think a jacket is more reasonable. Okay, that's better. Don't get too cold. It's very nice out here, so I thought maybe we'd spend a bit of time together here outside in Lausanne. I appreciate the beautiful end of there. I'm just trying to adjust this so it's somewhere that makes sense. That's good. So hello, and people come, people go. That anyway. So I want to talk a little bit about how things are going for me, just to begin with, while people arrive. That this has been my third fasting day. I've been on a water fast for 3 days now, and the reason why I've gone on a 3-day fast, first of all, because it actually is quite healthy. If you can cope with it, and it's not obvious, I can promise you that. But if you can cope with it, it's supposed to do an awful lot of good things. I'll talk about shorter fasts in a moment, but a long fast, one of the things that it's supposed to do is reboot your immune system. And that's something that the logic is that if you fast long enough, and I'll talk about intermittent fasting in a moment, which is something quite slightly different. But if you fast long enough, you create a system, a moment when you arrive in something called autophagy. Autophagy, you eat yourself. And autophagy is very important and very interesting because what happens is it cleans out all the old cells. And the image that I give for autophagy, whatever it is, one thing you have to be careful of is I'm a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian, and everything I say is my own ideas that I've taken from various places and what I think to be true. So be very careful what I say, because what I say is true for me. And some of it are opinions that a lot of people share, and some of it opinions that other people don't share at all. So just you take what I say with a pinch of salt, because maybe it's right, maybe it's not right. You need to check everything for yourself. But this is my appreciation of if you actually fast long enough. And I have promised today I will talk about the 6 F's. And the 6 F's, the first of the 6 F's, that's my system to lose weight and become healthier. And the 6 F's start off with fasting. So that's why I'm talking about fasting today. And I'm talking about water fasting because that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm on my 3rd day. Tonight I'm going to eat something. really, really want to get some food in because I just for the taste, just for the change. And so if you fast long enough, your body succeeds to pass into a phase called autophagy, where we eat ourselves, where the body eats itself. And one of the things is that our immune system is full of white cells. And those white cells, some of them are healthy, some of them are less healthy, some are not healthy at all. And when the this vacuum cleaner of looking for anything to consume starts functioning on our body, what it does is it consumes these old cells. And once you've consumed enough of these old cells, we say, oh, well, then you're going to be lacking in white blood cells, so that's a bit dangerous. But the moment you start eating again, then you start to fabricate new cells. And if you want to have an image of how this might work, is that imagine before the COVID, you had a factory. You have a big factory, and before the COVID, you have lots and lots of workers, and some of the workers you've had for a long time, and some of the workers are not very good, and some of the workers are just awful, but they also have good contracts. And in many countries, you have these contracts where you can't just sack people. You've got to have really, really good reasons. And if they're a bit old, and if they're a bit dysfunctional, or they're not very good, you can't really sack them, because they got to be really a huge fault, or you need to downgrade, downsize your business a lot to say, oh, we don't need them anymore. But if you've got a business that's functional, but you've got all these people that's dysfunctional, and then all magic, the COVID comes, and you say, oh, it's the COVID. And because it's the COVID, I can't produce as much. I need to sack all these people. Who do you sack? You sack first the weak, the old, the dysfunctional, the irritating, the people you've been wanting to sack for a long time. You've not had an excuse. And then when the COVID has passed, do you re-employ all these people that you've sacked? No way. You've benefited from getting rid of them, then you get some new blood, young people that are healthy. Well, your immune system works exactly the same way. Your immune system, when there's no food, because you're fasting, like there's no business, then you get rid of what you don't need. Old white blood cells and damaged ones and things like that. Also, cancer cells supposedly get eaten up in this moment. So that's why fasting for a certain period of time is actually very healthy. Now, I do understand that water fasting is bloody difficult to do. Even if you allow yourself tisane and other light drinks and things like that, it's not something most people can do, and especially not by themselves. Now, there are people that go away for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and they go with a group, and the group, that's really useful. If you can manage to do that from time to time, that's very, very healthy. It's very good for your body. You give, I say, a kickstart to your immune system. It's supposed to help you stay younger for longer. That's what I'm dealing with. I've got to stay young. And I've got to live to 120. I've decided I've got so much to do. I need to stay to at least 120 to get most of it done and to see my kids grow up. So that's part of the plan. So if you could go away for a retreat for 3, 4, 5 days to fast and meditate and go for walks in nature, that's much, much easier because you've got a group dynamic, you've got somebody leading you, somebody that's helping you to motivate. Just like I'm here to motivate you for this 70-day challenge, for this 10-week challenge. You've got people that motivate you for a week like that. So that's a good thing. So fasting. So I do water fasting. I'm a lunatic. Don't follow what I do for any reason. Choose what you do. So the other thing that most people do and do succeed to do is partial or intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting is a change of lifestyle. And it can be a very healthy change of lifestyle. It's something that really you can definitely do. Most people, the most current, the most usual partial or intermittent fasting is what they call the 16-8. 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating. Not 8 hours altogether that you start eating for 8 hours, but you have a window of 8 hours in which you allow yourself to eat. And that's something that's very, very doable for most people. You have an evening meal that's not too late at night. A few hours later, you go to bed, you sleep for about 8 hours, you wake up and you don't have breakfast. Now, the feeling that, oh my God, it's the morning, I need to have breakfast. You've got to have breakfast because it's the most important meal of the day. And if you don't have this breakfast, you're going to fall to pieces and you feel hungry and you feel, oh, I want to have breakfast. It's rubbish. It's just rubbish. Whether you feel that you need to eat, that is true. Yes, you feel you need to eat. Why do you feel need to eat? Because you have the habit of eating. Because you are programmed to eat. And what is very, very interesting, and this you will find, they say that if you do water fasting after 2 days, you don't feel hungry. I don't have that problem. I don't feel hungry at all. I just miss eating. But the idea that you need to eat 3 times a day or else you're not going to function, and you feel hungry and therefore that means you have to eat, it's not true. It doesn't work that way. We are programmed to be hungry at a certain time. And what is fascinating is if you do not eat your breakfast, you don't get more and more hungry over the next half hour. You just pass and you forget that you're hungry and you go involved with your work or looking after the kids or whatever else that you do on a regular basis. And you don't feel hungry. And then it comes maybe 10, 11 o'clock and people say, oh, it's time for a coffee and a biscuit. And then you think, oh, I'm hungry and thirsty. I want a coffee and a biscuit. But if you don't have it, then you hardly miss it. And then lunchtime comes. You think, oh, I'm really hungry for lunch. But if you don't eat lunch, which is really, really weird, then the hunger passes. Now, how is it possible that something that is a physiological need can pass like that? It doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is that we are programmed to eat. We have a hunger that comes to say it's time to eat. And when we don't eat, we say, okay, the meal wasn't there, so on to something else. And the next time it's time to eat, if the meal isn't there, we pass on to something else. Every living creature is capable of fasting. We're made to fast. It's usual. In the Stone Age, there were many times when there was no food. And we had to be able to function with no food and not think, oh, I'm hungry, I want to have something, I can't think, I can't focus, I can't function. No. We are made to function. And people that try and sell the concept of fasting, they say that after a certain while, you have something called the ketones that come into force, and those ketones they're more useful, more energetic, more energizing than the food that we eat, that we are consuming. So there's different logic. And if we weren't capable after 2 or 3 days of not eating to be able to run and kill something, in the Stone Age I'm talking, not now, if we weren't capable to do that, we would die out as a species. So the ability to not eat and still function is necessary for survival. So if you say, okay, I'm going to miss out, still talking about intermittent fasting, by the way. I do go around the houses quite a lot. That's just the way that I function. So with intermittent fasting, if you wake up and think, oh, it's time for breakfast, I should have some cereal or some toast, or it depends where you are, croissant, whatever, and you think, oh, I need to have that. No, you don't need to have that. You need to think, oh, I'm in a challenge. I'm going to test myself. I'm not going to eat breakfast. It's going to be fine. I'll have a glass of water. I'll have a glass of tisane if necessary, a cup of tisane. And then when 10 o'clock comes, you just say, no, I don't want to go and get involved with that. And then when you get to sort of lunchtime, depending on where you are with your 8 hours, you might just have to push your lunch a bit later. And of course, if you're at work, then maybe it's do a bit of negotiating with your bosses and things like that. But just to get into that 8 hour window where you eat your lunch, and then maybe you have something at 5 o'clock if you really feel the need for it, but better not. And you have an evening meal which is reasonable, not too starchy, not too much in carbohydrates, and then you're going to really feel the benefits. Now, I've looked up on the internet, because that's where you find all this information, and I did a PowerPoint just to let you know the awfulness of my life. I've done a PowerPoint to do with the 6 Fs, which I'm talking about. I am talking about the 6 Fs. Yes, I am. About the 6 Fs. And I spent nearly an hour to do the PowerPoint in English and in French. And I was about to start, and the microphone on my computer blocked. It just keeps blocking. I have no idea why. I keep trying things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm really frustrated. So there is a PowerPoint about the 6 Fs, which you're not watching because I'm not putting it on. Maybe I'll add it afterwards. That's an idea. I'll try and add it afterwards. Anyway, so talking about 16-hour intermittent fasting. 16-hour intermittent fasting, often called the 16-8 method, offers potential benefits like weight loss, improved blood sugar control. That's really, really important if you're insulin resistant, if you've got type 2 diabetes. If you can start to attack that part of your body dysfunctioning, that to change your life, I'll tell you. And even some protection against age-related diseases. Now that is because, as I say, that when you start to have this autophagy, your body starts to eat itself. It starts to eat the old cells. It starts to regenerate itself. A bit like Doctor Who, if you know who Doctor Who is. Your regeneration. I don't think he's fasting to do that. It involves restricting eating for an 8-hour window and fasting for the remaining 16. Well, I think we've already covered that. So that's fasting. So out of the 6 Fs, the first one is fasting. The second one is famine. And famine for me, so fasting is 1 or 2 days that you either do full fasting, water fasting, or intermittent fasting. If you want to do intermittent fasting for the whole time, and work on that's fine. There's nothing against it. I mean, people do what they want. I'm just giving you ideas. I'm just telling you what I do. Yeah. So the second F is famine, which means a very, very, very light diet. It means very, very no carbs, low calories, maybe keto, that sort of thing, but not a protein, not a meat diet. That's not the. I think if you have too much meat, it doesn't help the process, because if you have a low calorie diet, a very low calorie diet with not much protein, then you have something which is like a fasting diet. There is it's called a fasting mimicking diet. That's what it's called. The fasting mimicking diet is if you have very low calories and quite low protein, then your body could still think it's fasting, and that could be useful, especially if you do a 16-8 intermittent fasting, and then the evening meal is very light with light protein. Then that carries on a bit the fasting process. However, the third and the fourth Fs are fish and flesh, basically protein. So at least once a week, and we haven't got to the Saturday yet, but at least once a week, which is usually for me the Friday, then I will have a decent portion, quite a large portion, of either fish or meat, fish or flesh. Because I want to make sure that I do have a certain quantity of protein in my body, and I I do it that way. The other thing is, because I'm well over 50, I'm over 60, 68, I do take supplements of all different sorts, fish oils, over 50 multivitamins and things like that. Plus all the handfuls and handfuls of medication I take because I'm totally wrecked inside. We won't go over all the things that are not working within me, but that's also one of the reasons why I'm trying to be a bit healthier nowadays. So fish or flesh. So we have fasting, famine, fish, flesh, Feast. Now, feast is really important. You really need to give yourself, I'm talking basically today, obviously, more about food and fitness than other things. I'll talk a little bit about the other things at the very end, because why not? But it's really important that we talk about these things, because most people, their problems are they're overweight, they're unfit, they're insulin resistant, the diabetic. That's the most people. Oh yes, we have people that want to reduce the smoking and alcohol and the medications and drugs and other things, but we'll talk about that in a second. So the next F is feast. And feast is really, really important. Now, I know that in many diets they talk about having a cheat day. I find that to be awful. The idea that you are cheating, that you're doing something wrong, you're doing something bad, that you should feel guilty about it, or try not to feel guilty about it, I think is totally, completely stupid. To say, I have done 6 days that I have been very controlled, I have deprived myself of lots of things that I usually like to do, I usually like to have. Then you go to this feast day and you say, okay, what am I missing? What would I really like to have? Do I want to have a chocolate, an ice cream, a sandwich? For me, most of the days I just don't eat any carbohydrates. So the idea to have a sandwich, to have something with bread, or one of these kebab type things, for me, that's my feast. That's the bit that's really it's really important. Maybe a bit of chocolate, maybe some Coca-Cola. These things that you really shouldn't be doing anyway. But why not? We need to do that. Even if you're cutting down on your cigarettes, if maybe one day a week you say, okay, I'd really like to have a cigarette with a coffee, just once a week. Why not? The idea is not to be hyper strict. The idea is not to stress yourself like crazy to do things that are so difficult. And so 70 days is a long time. If you don't give yourself a break at least once a week to sort of relax, because the sixth F is fitness. Fitness, that's what we call the gym in French. So you go to the gym. So go to the gym often, but maybe once or twice a week, give yourself some time off. Don't have to go. You don't have to go all the time. You don't have to be extreme. You have to be regular. The idea of the 70 days, which I've talked about in other videos, is that after 66 days, on average, of course it's an average, it's different, but around 66 days, if you can carry on doing something for 66 days, it becomes normal, becomes a habit. And I'm talking about the fitness. I hate the fitness. I find it boring. I hate it. And I go most days of the week. And I don't think about it anymore, because I've done a 70-day challenge between January, the 4th of January, and I think about the 14th of March, something like that. And I've done it. And now it's like, oh, I need to go to the fitness today. I'm on a 3rd day of my water fast. I have many things that I needed to do for this, which I was talking about, the PowerPoint presentation. I still went to the fitness. I said, okay, I don't have time to spend too long, but I'll spend 3/4 of an hour. I'm a bit wrecked because I'm not eating, and I haven't found this huge energy that it's supposed to get. I haven't found it. Maybe my body just works different because I'm not human, but I look human, so that's okay. And so I go because I have 70 days. Most of those days I went to the gym. And now going to the gym is just normal. So if you do something and you keep doing it and it becomes a habit, it's so much easier, because you stop thinking, you stop worrying about it, you stop stressing about it. You say, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. I mean, there's many of us, many of you, that, have to do housework. You go to housework, you do your housework, you got to clean this, you got to clean that. You don't think, oh my God, I've got to do that. Well, hopefully not. You do it because it is to be done. You go to work. We go to work, most of us, every day. well, 5 days a week. And we don't think about, oh my God, I've got to go to work. You just go because it's a habit. It's just normal. And so if you keep doing things long enough, healthy things, new things, different things, then it'll become normal. Now, it's nearly 25 minutes, so I promised also I'll talk about other things. So anyway, those are the 6 Fs. That's it. I've done what I've promised. I spoke about the 6 Fs. I'm sorry that you didn't see the PowerPoint, but maybe I'll download this and edit it and put the PowerPoint at the end. So that would be something maybe that's useful for you. So if you are doing, as opposed to reducing your weight, you want to reduce your cigarette consumption or your alcohol or your medications or your drugs. It's the same thing. Every time that you're going to repeat the action to take a cigarette, to take a drink, to take a drug, medication is different. And I've said medication is different. Think about what it is that you're doing. Thinking, do I need to do this? And although medication is prescribed by your doctor, if you're taking a lot of medication and you want to reduce it, I was saying I have a patient that's taking catapine, I think it's called catin. I'm dyslexic, I'm bizarre, so I forget how to pronounce things, and she had a bad accident. She took very, very large doses of painkillers that she got hooked on, and her doctor moved her on to this other medication, which is supposed to be less bad. And like in America, they have fentanyl. But they moved on to something else, and she takes 1,000 milligrams of this medication per day. And of course we want to reduce it, but to be reasonable, we're not going to reduce it to 0 in 10 weeks. That's just not even reasonable. My high dream for her is to reduce 300 or 400 milligrams in the 10 weeks, but we will see what we can do. So every time you're about to repeat a behavior, and that also includes obviously eating, every time you repeat a behavior, stop and think, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of it? Do I really want and need it? And will I feel better if I pass this time? Or if I push it a bit later, if I don't do it now? Because that's just the essence. The essence of reducing and stopping things is to every time say, I'm not sure that this is good for me. Because every time that you can say at the end of the day, I have reduced my consumption by something, you feel proud of yourself. And we want to feel proud of ourselves. We want to succeed. And we can succeed. We can succeed in small increments. We don't have to go crazy. We don't have to go too much. Just every time we think we can reduce something that is unhealthy for us, then say, okay, I can pass this once. I can pass this cigarette. I cannot have this drink. Even this medication, maybe I can take half. And drugs, well, I don't know what drugs you're taking, but again, just see if you can take longer between every time you take it. And see if you can take less. And yes, I know that there are certain medications, certain drugs, is that you become insensitive to. And all you're doing is filling your body with something just so you don't get the shakes or you don't get withdrawal symptoms. You just have to keep taking the drug, which includes nicotine, of course. And you just take it. You don't. And if you take less, you're going to feel a bit bad. But that's okay, because feeling bad can be positive. It's like people that go to the gym and their muscles hurt afterwards. They think, oh, great, my muscles hurt. I've had that. I'm strange. So sometimes when you say, if I do this and it makes me feel bad, then it's going to be good, because that bad feeling is showing me that I'm actually doing something positive for myself. So the idea is that we can do this. We can make this work. And to make this work, you need to go out of your comfort zone and for time to time into the zone of suffering. Now, I have a huge, beautiful PowerPoint little thing with these things that move, that talk about that, which I will, if I can get my microphone to work tomorrow, I will show you. If not, I don't know what I can do. I'll just have to try and find another way to get things working. It's quite frustrating. I mean, I much prefer to be on the computer and do PowerPoint and things like that. 30 minutes have passed, but because it's the evening and because I've already done the French half hour before, and because there's quite a few of you, and just carry on for a bit longer if you want. Um, just to talk about the things that, not the things that we're reducing, but the things that we want to add, the things that we don't do, like going to the gym, like maybe starting to run. Running is so useful, so healthy for so many things. Now, I'm not a runner. It's not my thing. But I remember at one point when I was about 25 or something like that, 30. No, I was 30. And for some reason, I decided I would start trying to jog. And I remember one occasion, and I know it was only one occasion, but after I'd been doing it for a week or two, and I suddenly felt the pleasure of running. It was a wonderful thing. And maybe in one of these 70-day challenges, I will change my challenge from going to the fitness into learning to run and getting into running. Because the thing about the 70-day challenge, it's so wide, it's so wonderful, that you can say, is there anything that I want to change in my life? Do I want to write a book? Okay, I want to write a book. I don't know. I never get started. I'm always frustrated, and it just never seems to be the right moment. This can be the right moment. Go for it. Go for it. Do it. If you want to learn to play the piano, okay, to play the piano, what you need to do is take lessons, and then in between the lessons, you need to keep practicing. My telephone has gone a weird colour. I think it might be running out of charge. So it might stop at any moment. If it stops at any moment, I'll say goodbye now. But I'll keep going anyway. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll plug it in, which is going to be weird because I'm going to go inside and plug it in, and I'm going to be holding it for a while we're here, because there's still a few of you here, and why not go inside? I know it's a bit dark, but I'll switch the lights on. You can see the mess of my apartment here. Let's see how I can get this working. It goes that way. It's all very complicated, technology and stuff. No, it's got 61%, it's fine. No, it's fine. So I can just stay like that. I'm inside in my studio. So that's like that. So as I was saying, for things that you're not doing, that you want to do, I was saying, I try and remember what I'm talking about. I forget sometimes. It's such an incredibly wide concept, that anything that you might fancy doing, feel like doing, I've always dreamt of doing, the 70-day challenge can help you structure yourself to do it. As I say, if you want to learn the piano, you take 1 or 2 classes a week, and then every single day you do a bit of practicing. If you want to write a book, then 2 or 3 or 4 times a week, you need to get yourself sat down and doing some work. It's true that if you've got a very busy life, maybe you can just succeed. Do that, open my eyes a bit more. Don't know. My eyes. I remember when I was a few years ago, when I had very little time, I would write on Sundays. Sunday was my day to write. And I've written, 12, 13, 14 books. So it's totally doable. So go for it. So anything you might try and do. I've just remembered what I was going to talk about. It's terrible, you know. So what I've added on my things to do on this 70 days is to change my taste buds. I have reflected that I like chocolate. I wish to eat chocolate quite often, which is in the windows between the 70 days. And what I know is that dark chocolate is much, much healthier than milk chocolate. So what I've decided is one of my challenges of these 70 days is to change my taste buds to appreciate more dark chocolate, which generally I don't like. So again, we have 66 days to change a habit. I'm not going to be eating chocolate every day. That obviously is nonsense. But I will eat some chocolate on Saturdays, which is my feast day. I have a feast day every Saturday because generally one of my kids, hopefully, uh, eat with me, and we have a bit of a feast, really a feast. I make a lot of effort for that. We watch a Netflix, a film, or something like that. And so that's my day to for my feast and my and family and things like that. But I'm going to more and more eat dark chocolate and stop buying milk chocolate, and that's the way it is. Changing your taste buds and changing your thing. I'm just chatting. Um, I remember when I was very, very, very young, about 9 years old. I went to boarding school because I was unwell. And one of my unwellnesses was I was obese. And the first thing they do is they put me on a diet, which is not unreasonable. And what was strange is that in that school, they were very open for kids of all ages in the morning to either have a milky sweet tea or a milky sweet coffee, which was beautiful. But I wasn't allowed to have it because I was on a diet. I was allowed to go to the staff table and make myself a coffee with all the adults. But I wasn't allowed any sugar. And so my father, who was diabetic, I phoned my father and said, what should I do for sweeteners since I'm not allowed to have sweeteners anymore? And he gave me some incredibly good advice. He said, don't take anything. He says, drink it without, and after 1 or 2 weeks, it'll be fine. And it's true. I never take sugar in coffee anymore. I haven't since I was 9 years old. And that's just because I went through the process of changing my taste buds. And everything is, I won't say everything, that's exaggerated. There's so many things in life that we can change, that we can do, that we can put into place. We just have to decide to do it. And I'm giving you the structure. You have these 70 days. We don't have quite 70 days now. I think it's about 65. But you have the time. You have the means. I'm here 6 days a week. Can you imagine? For an hour. Half hour French, half hour English, and a bit more now because I'm staying with you for a bit longer because you're here. And I'm so appreciative that you're here, that I'm staying with you. And but things can work. You just need to say, this is what I want to do. I will do it. It can be done. It's feasible. It's reasonable. So I trust you. I have confidence in you. I have confidence in myself. I'm an eternal optimist. So I can be optimistic for myself and I can be optimistic for you. So I'm going to go now. I'm going to have something to eat. I'm going to have some soup. I have made some vegetable soup with, I don't know which vegetables I was cooking at whatever point. I think I made some broccoli, so there's broccoli in it. And in the broccoli, what I do is I steam the broccoli, but all the stalks and all the hard bits I put in to make a soup with while I'm steaming it. I have a machine for that. And I'm going to add a tin of peas because I love peas. So I'm going to have a pea and other vegetable soup tonight. So you can appreciate my soup for tonight. And tomorrow I will more than likely have something also healthier. We want to have some broccoli and stuff, because broccoli is supposed to be incredibly good for dieting, because it's the one food you can eat doesn't gain weight at all, so it says. Anyway, we'll discuss that tomorrow. So thank you for sharing with me this evening. It's a pleasure that you're here, and I'll be again live tomorrow night. So maybe I'll see you then. Bye for now.